Okay, so what we're going to look at in this video is B4.5 breathing and the gas exchange system. So for gas exchange system to work efficiently, you need a large difference in concentrations of the gas on different sides of the exchange membrane. Many of large animals, including humans, move air in and out of the lungs. They maintain a steep concentration gradient, which is this large difference in concentrations, by changing the composition of air in the lungs. So you all know we breathe air in and out. And there's different amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air that we breathe in and out, and that difference in composition, so composition is what it's made up of, means there's a different concentration gradient in air. Oxygen and carbon dioxide can diffuse in and out of the lungs. So looking at it in more detail, I've got a picture of an alveoli here. The alveoli are found in the lungs, and these are air sacs where gas exchange takes place. Now you can see air moves in and air moves out of these alveoli. On the diagram here, I've got the red arrows going out of the alveoli into the bloodstream. The bloodstream goes around the outside of the air sac, meaning there's a constant supply of blood to the alveoli. So oxygen diffuses into the bloodstream from the alveoli, so it gets breathed in, it then goes into the alveoli, into the bloodstream and carried around the rest of the body. Whereas carbon dioxide does the opposite path, so air that comes into the lungs, it hasn't got very much oxygen, but it's got lots of carbon dioxide in it. Carbon dioxide is the waste product from respiration, and we need to respire so that we've got energy for ourselves to work. So that waste product, carbon dioxide, gets brought back to the lungs again, where it diffuses out of the bloodstream into the alveoli and then gets breathed out. Looking at a diagram of the human one in a little bit more detail, we can see, I've got a rough diagram here of the gas exchange system. We've got the nose and mouth. This is where the air comes in and out. It goes down through the trachea, which is also known as the windpipe. Now you can see I've got some little lines going across here. These are rings of cartilage, which are quite a hard substance. It's like what your ears are made out of, and this keeps your airways open. Your trachea then branched out into bronchi, or singular of bronchi is bronchus even, so one bronchus here, one bronchus here. These bronchus then split into bronchioles, so they sort of branch out even further, and then at the end of the bronchioles, these little blue dots, they're meant to represent the alveoli where gas exchange takes place. Now we can see both sides of the lungs. We've got two lungs here, they're both built very similarly. In the middle we have the heart. Around the outside you have the rib cage, which protects your lungs and your heart, and in between those ribs are muscles which help the rib cage move up and down. These are called intercostal muscles. Underneath your lungs is another muscle called the diaphragm. Now this contracts and relaxes. At the minute in the diagram it's in its relaxed state, so it's curved up in its relaxed state. When it contracts, it flattens and comes down. This increases and decreases the amount of space in your chest. Now in your chest, this scientific name for the chest is called the thorax. Okay, so the ribs, lungs, heart, that sort of thing, that is called the thorax. Underneath your diaphragm is where your abdomen is, so where your stomach and other digestive organs are. So that's where they live. So when you breathe in, oxygen-rich air moves into your lungs. This maintains a steep concentration gradient in the blood. So remember we said concentration gradient is the difference between how much oxygen is one place compared to the difference in how much oxygen in another place. The bigger the difference, the bigger the concentration gradient, and the quicker things will diffuse across. So as a result, oxygen gradually diffuses into your bloodstream through gas exchange surfaces in your alveoli. Carrying on from that, so breathing out removes carbon dioxide rich air from the lungs. So as I said, carbon dioxide is a waste product from respiration that is brought back to the lungs and it's removed. This maintains a concentration gradient so that carbon dioxide continually diffuse out of the bloodstream into the air of your lungs, and then we breathe it out. So what I've got here is a little table, try to make it level, and it shows the composition, so what the air is made of that we breathe in and breathe out. This sort of squiggly line means approximately. So there's approximately 80% of air is made up of nitrogen, and that's the same we breathe in now, it stays the same. Oxygen, we breathe in approximately 20%, but we breathe out 16%, so there's less oxygen we breathe out, therefore we use up some of that oxygen in our respiration. Remember, respiration is the process that we go through to make energy for our body. It happens in the mitochondria in our cells. Carbon dioxide, we start off as quite a small amount, only 0.04%, and we breathe out much more, 4%, so there's an increase in carbon dioxide that we breathe out. And finally, the adaptations of the alveoli. So the alveoli are the air sacs that I showed you a diagram of on the previous slide, that oxygen and carbon dioxide diffuse in and out of. This is where gas exchange takes place. I've highlighted the 3 main adaptations, and next to each one is a reason why it is useful. So your lungs are especially adapted to make gas exchange more efficient, so they can do their job better. They are made up of clusters of alveoli, so those blue dots that I showed you on the diagram before, and they provide a very large surface area. This is important for achieving the most effective diffusion of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So the bigger the surface area, the more space there is for this carbon dioxide and oxygen to move in and out of the alveoli. The second adaptation, the alveoli also have a rich supply of blood capillaries. This maintains a concentration gradient in both directions. The blood entering the lungs doesn't have very much oxygen in it, but blood leaving the lungs has a lot of oxygen in it, so there's always that concentration gradient. And vice versa, blood coming into the lungs has lots of carbon dioxide in it, compared to blood leaving the lungs has less carbon dioxide in it. And then the third adaptation, so the layer of cells between the air of the lungs and the capillaries even is also very, very thin. So the wall of the alveoli is only 1 cell wide. This allows for diffusion to take place over the shortest possible distance, and we call this a short diffusion pathway.